But
yeah.
But yeah,
people get testy about words. It's ridiculous how people get so testy about words when you know what the hell we're trying to say. I just got to say that. But so what I want to do is, because we're going to, after we just came from America, we're going to go to Africa, because I was going to go the other way around, but we can just redirect. And then I want you to tell us, because you just told us the experience that you had here in America with polygamy. Now we want to talk about the experience you had in Africa, and then we want to come back and break it down, the problems that you experienced or you saw and witnessed in there. We want to talk about because you said the pros and the cons, so we want to talk about both, and then we want to talk about your experience. And then we'll talk about mine, because I'm not doing this show not ever having that experience, because I have. So let's go ahead and go to Africa, and let's talk about it, your experience there, please.
Okay. Right now?
Yes, right now.
Okay.
Let's go. I got my bags packed.
Let's go. Okay. Well, here's kind of how things flowed. I moved to Africa with my brothers. Boom. We're there. We opened up our studio. We're doing our thing. We're living, immersed in the culture and just experiencing the African life, the African way. And it's beautiful. It's great experience. We really had a great experience. And, I happened to travel back to America to visit for a show, there was a trade show going on. And I was doing some merchandising. I had a clothing company with a great friend of mine that we started together. And so I was handling, the manufacturing over in Africa. I was overseeing the production of the clothing and everything. And then we bring it back and, sell here in America. And so I brought the stuff over. And while I was here, I met a young lady. And, there was a connection. There was a spark there. And, we're two young people, and we started getting to know each other and just, really felt the love start to grow and blossom between us. And so, I let her know, I was like, I live in Africa, and it's just not going to be easy, kind of maintaining this vibe. And so we still decided we wanted to give it a try. So, I ended up going back home to Africa. And, while I was there, time is passing. I was there for some months and whatnot. Then I met a sister in Africa. And it's a very interesting story, how it all happened. That's for another time. And for another time and place, but it was a really magical encounter, meeting, how we met, it was almost fateful, you know what I'm saying?
Keep on talking about it. You talk about it now if you keep bringing it up, because now I'm getting interested.
Anyway, we met, and we hit it off, and there was a connection there and a spark as well. So, as we were talking and things like that, I let her know, it's like, look, I'm involved with someone in America, that I really care about, and, I'm already involved. And she was like, it's okay. You know what I'm saying?
No.
I don't care. Yeah, she was like, I don't care. It's okay. So then, I would talk to the sister here in America regularly, you know what I'm saying, like online and things like that. This was like way before, Skype and all, Facebook and all of that stuff. So sometimes I get like a calling card, and, you know what I'm saying, we would talk on the phone and stuff like that, long distance. And so I told her also, I was like, look, I met someone out here, and here's the deal. We've been vibing, you know what I'm saying? Nothing's happened so far on an intimate level, but, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm interested in this sister, and she's interested in me, and I told her about you, and she said she didn't care, she didn't mind, da da da. And so she basically said the same thing too. She was like, look, you know, it's all good, you know what I'm saying? I was like, look, I love both of you, you know, and I was just basically honest and upfront with both of them. And I communicated with both of them in this way, you know. And we kind of all decided and agreed that we were going to, you know, that they would allow me to, you know, develop relationship with both of them, you know. And so that's what happened, you know. That's what happened, and time began to pass, and, you know, it was, eventually I moved back to America, and, you know, before then I had my first child while I was there in Africa with that sister. And so we ended up moving back here. And so when we moved back to America, then, you know, we all kind of lived together, me and the two sisters and, you know, my newly born daughter. And so, you know, it was challenging because for many reasons, actually. But one of the main reasons was because, you know, if you're not raised in that type of culture, you know, one of them was, but the other one wasn't. The other one was born and raised here in like a traditional, you know, Christian family. And so she especially had very difficult time kind of like wrapping her head around the whole concept, you know, and then also having to, you know, deal with family and friends who were counseling her against it and who were, you know, always in her ear and things like that. And that's a powerful thing, you know what I'm saying, when people are, you know, you're listening to these things and the suggestions, and sometimes those things, you know, once those seeds are planted in the fertile ground of the mind, they can start to take root and blossom and grow, and, you know, all types of things that, you know, aren't even happening. You know, you think they're happening because they're happening in your mind. All of your fears and your worst fears and things are really playing out in your mind, you know. And so you end up being your own worst enemy and undoing yourself before anyone else outside of you or anything outside of you even happens, you know. And so those type of things were happening, you know. And it was very difficult, you know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, before even attempting something like this, like, you have to understand that you have to be very, very strong-minded. You have to have a strong spirit, strong mind, and emotionally strong as well, you know. And these are things that many of us just haven't cultivated just yet, you know, because these aren't the things that we're taught. It's not like we grew up in like a Shaolin temple, you know what I'm saying, where we learn how to meditate when we're growing up. We learn how to focus. We learn how to quiet our thoughts. We learn how to control our emotions. You know, we don't learn these things. These things aren't taught in school. They're not taught in church. They're not taught anywhere that I know of, you know what I'm saying, in the mainstream, you know. And so people are so ill-equipped and unprepared to really deal with the power, the raw power of their own selves and their own emotions, you know. And when those things are kindled and within them, within yourself, if you don't know what to do with it or how to, you know, control it or subdue it or transform those feelings or channel it in a positive direction, then those things can end up destroying you and, you know, and your environment, the things around you as well, you know. And so we see so much of that going on in society, you know, as it is, whether it's dealing with polygamy or in monogamous relationships as well. And just in being a human being and experiencing life out here, you know, we see how immature and underdeveloped we are emotionally as human beings as far as really knowing how to master our emotions and our thoughts and things. And so being that was the case, like my partners and myself, you know, these were the things we were dealing with. We were all young, you know, and so we were all trying to figure out how to manage these powerful emotions and feelings and thoughts. And, you know, for me, the thing was, how do I maintain balance and harmony within the household? You know what I'm saying? Not having these sisters go at each other or allowing for jealousy to spark, you know, and to grow within the house, you know, or allowing, you know, these negative feelings to really take root in the heart of my companions, my partners, you know, which were two women that I loved dearly, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't about, you know, and it's so interesting, too, because, you know, a lot of times people feel as though, you know, polygamy is all about men having access to more sex and, you know, different partners and things like that. Or, you know, menage a trois and stuff, you know what I'm saying? They feel like that's what it's all about. That's why men want it so bad, you know. But, I mean, for me, it wasn't about that. It was, I genuinely felt a strong, powerful connection with both of these sisters. I loved them both dearly. And most of the time that we were together, you know what I'm saying, the sexual aspect was very low, you know what I'm saying, because there was so much turmoil and turbulence that had to be managed and navigated, you know, upon such a path, you know, of being in multiple partnerships, you know. And so these are the things that can come up, you know what I'm saying? And I find that a lot of men romanticize, men and women romanticize the idea of polygamy and things like that. But it's not that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to really, you have to be very realistic, and you have to know that it's not easy, you know what I'm saying? That it takes a certain level of mastery, self-mastery, to even attempt to walk this path, you know, to even attempt it, because you could easily end up destroying yourself, you know, or destroying your family, you know, easily. It can happen so quick,